All right, Lisha, I've just hit the live button and folks will start to be able to join us in a few moments.
All right, sounds great.
It'll likely be just a few more moments as we have folks entering into the virtual platform and joining the session. We've already got 10 into the room, so folks are finding us, and we'll let that ticker go up as high as I think it should go based off of our RSVPs for today, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But welcome everybody who's joining us. It's so great to be with you today at our first exciting activity for the entire week of the Now Conference 2023. Oh my gosh, the 11th annual Now Conference. It's wonderful to be with you all. We've got about 28 in the room right now. We're going to give it a few moments before we get started, and we'll have some housekeeping and introductions before we jump into our amazing presentation. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. Great to be with you all. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get started in just a few moments. So for folks who are joining us, hang tight. Oh, this is great. Okay, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get started. It's just so exciting to welcome you all to our first activity in 2023's Now Conference, starting with our pre and post conference offerings in Coaching HQ. I want to welcome you all to the Now Conference. Good morning. My name is Colin. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the Senior Talent Strategy Partner at UC Berkeley, and I am your moderator for today's session. I'm going to be hanging out with you all actually all through the week in our Coaching HQ webinars. This year, I have the honor of serving as the Coaching HQ lead at the 2023 Now Conference. I also want to thank Angelo Stopper, our executive sponsor for the Now Conference, and the incredible Ying Kwa and the amazing Lisa Reichert, who are this year's co-chairs for the Now Conference, in addition to the amazing Now Conference Planning Committee, all of our coaching volunteers, our presenters, our keynotes, our sponsors. This is a team effort, and we're so thankful for all of your participation and engagement. So this session marks the kickoff of our whole week of personal and career development planning for those who are in all stages of their careers. For those attending the Coaching HQ activities, we look forward to getting to work with you during the one-on-one and group coaching sessions held throughout the week. So please note registration for webinars, group coaching sessions, which are now full, and the one-on-one coaching sessions are closed. Registration is closed, everybody. You received invitations to your UC email account via nowcoachinghq@berkeley.edu. All right, everybody. I have the pleasure of welcoming everyone to 3 Keys to Unlocking Greater Courage, Confidence, and Clarity by Lisha Davidovits of Coach Lisha LLC. We're going to be getting started in just a moment here. I want to share with you all that the session is recorded. The presentation slide deck can be found on the Now Conference Coaching HQ webpage. It's also likely linked within this room, potentially. The chat feature will be on and off throughout this session at various points. The Q&A is enabled, so feel free also to toggle on/off captioning for today's webinar presentation. As a reminder, the interactive portion of this event directly follows this hour. Those who registered for group coaching on this very topic should leave this virtual webinar platform after the presentation to access their group coaching invitation sent to them by nowcoachinghq@berkeley.edu. You will be able to meet our amazing volunteer coaches this year, of which there are over 80. Oh my gosh, the most ever, who will lead our small groups of about 10 small group size discussions, debriefing, reflecting upon the material from today's session. All right, with that, I'm happy to introduce you to our presenter. As a success coach, Lisha Davidovits helps high achievers transition into more senior professional roles with less stress and more joy. By learning new ways to navigate uncertainty and challenges while remaining authentic to themselves, her clients gain confidence, courage, and clarity that furthers their success and well-being. Lisha's skills are enhanced by 20 years of experience in coaching, consulting, and facilitation in client roles, mental fitness expertise, certifications as a positive intelligence coach and co-active coach, MBAs in psychology and in rhetoric and communication from UC Davis. Yes, awesome. Also, a huge thanks to you, Lisha, for your amazing work, not only presenting today, but being instrumental in designing the group coaching sessions that are followed by today's session, and also for your facilitation of one-on-one career coaching sessions through the Now Conference Week. Lisha, you are a winner, and we are so happy to have you here. Okay, everybody, a big, warm UC welcome to Lisha. The floor is yours, and thank you so much. We're so excited for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and for the opportunity to be here. And thank you everyone for being here today, sharing this time together. This actually means a lot to me to be here with each and every one of you. I have a strong connection to the UCs. As a UC Davis graduate myself, married to someone who is a Cal graduate. My sister graduated from UCSB, my dad from UCLA. I have connections to all the other UCs that are just filling my heart with joy. And so shout out to each and every one of you, whichever UC you're from. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this conference. What I'm about to share with you could change the entire trajectory of your career, as well as your personal life, which makes me extra excited to be here to share what I'm about to share. During our time together, takeaways that you will leave with are how to identify and understand the root sources that compromise your energy and emotion, how to navigate uncertainty and challenges more effectively, and how to connect with what's next for you from a place of authenticity, resonance, and fulfillment. We have about 50 minutes together, during which I ask you to be fully present for yourself, to give yourself the opportunity to get all that you can out of our time together. This is a time for you to get what you came for and move yourself closer to where you want to be. Consider when you registered, what was it that you wanted to get out of this morning's time? Now is your chance to remember that and be here for that. Whatever you were doing before this, you can just put that to the side. Whatever's coming up next, that's still going to be there. So just be here in the moment to be fully present. In doing so, you will leave the workshop having reconnected with your best self, having recharged to navigate life with greater courage, confidence, and clarity, and having reimagined a brighter, bolder future. How great does that sound? Are we ready? Are we ready to kick off this amazing conference? Okay, let's go. So the concepts I'm going to be talking about are, as Colin mentioned, based on positive intelligence as per my background as a certified positive intelligence coach. So positive intelligence was created by Shirzad Chamine, who is a Stanford lecturer and author of the New York Times bestselling book, Positive Intelligence. It is based on over 500,000 hours of research, as well as all of the latest in the different realms of psychology and neuroscience, all brought together to create a very simple operating system that essentially identifies each of us have what is referred to as the judge of self, others, and circumstances. Now, with the judge is looking from a place of, this is bad. That's the judge's perspective. Something happens, this is bad. There's, this negative energy and emotion that comes up. Now, the judge has saboteur accomplices. So the judge is the master saboteur. And then it's also got these accomplices. Now, the accomplices are things that all of us have, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, to be embarrassed about. It's a part of us. It doesn't define us, it's a part of us. So these saboteurs include controller, hyperachiever, restless, stickler, pleaser, hypervigilant, avoider, victim, hyperrational. They are all equal opportunity destroyers. No one is better or worse than the other. And as I mentioned, we all have them. My top ones are the pleaser, hyperachiever, and stickler. So for example, when I was given the opportunity to be a presenter, I was at first excited. I had applied and I was chosen to get to be a webinar presenter. Then my saboteurs crept in. Hyperachiever said, do you really have what it takes? If you can't nail this, then what is that going to say about you and your capabilities? Then the stickler comes in and says, yeah, not only you better nail this, but it better be perfect. You've got to have all of the right content and really do a good job for the amazing group that's going to be attending. Then the pleaser came in and the pleaser said, yeah, you don't want Colin and others saying, what were we thinking? Bring Lisha on to be part of this conference. And the avoider came in and the avoider said, hey, guess what? You can just jump ship, not too late, just tell Colin, oh, sorry, I forgot I have a conflict. I won't be able to do it after all. Those are some examples of the voices of these saboteurs creeping in, creating doubt, uncertainty, anxiety, shame, worry, anger, frustration. All the negative energy and emotions are related to the saboteurs. And they tend to not be truthful. As an example, then my friend Kate was working at an organization and she would say yes to pretty much everything. She had a pleaser saboteur. These saboteurs are the extension of our strengths. So she was very kind, generous, and her pleaser saboteur kicked in when it went to the dark side. For people who are familiar with Star Wars, there's the light side and the dark side. These saboteurs go into the dark side. It's going past that point of when it's a strength and working to your disadvantage. So she was saying yes to everything, thinking, I'm going to make people happier. They're going to like how I'm performing as an employee more when I'm saying yes to everything. Over time, she was doing the work of 3 different roles, taking it all on, thinking people are going to be happier with the more that I do, the better it will be. The lie is that it was actually making things worse. Her health was becoming compromised. She was on the verge of burnout, incredibly stressed. And as the quantity went up, the quality went down. And so people were seeing things were falling through the cracks. The expectations weren't being met. So it was actually giving her the opposite of what it was promising as that saboteur voice. Another example is the hyperachiever. The hyperachiever pushes for more. You need to be doing more, more, more. Kate also had the hyperachiever pushing her. If you do more, you'll be up for a promotion. You're going to soar in your role. A different narrative could be, wherever you're at, terrific. Whatever you're doing, fantastic. I encourage you to keep that in mind wherever you are in your professional roles right now. It's great. It's fine as is. You can grow from wherever you are. There's nowhere that you need to be, that you should be. The best opportunity to grow within your role or transition into another role is the one that comes from the opposite of the saboteur, which is sage. Sage, which we'll get into more, pulls you toward it rather than the saboteur, which pushes you towards something that isn't likely to be as resonant or fulfilling. For example, we have 2 people running a marathon. One person is being pushed by their hyperachiever. Go, go, go. You're not going fast enough. Other people are passing you. What's wrong with you? You've got to be the fastest. You've got to get to the end of the finish line. Come on, move it, move it, move it. Then they get to the end of the finish line. They're at the end of that marathon. You have another person who is coming from sage. They're being pulled. I love running. This is so fantastic. I'm having the best time of my life. They're seeing their sage at the end of the finish line saying, come on, you can do this. You've got this. You're doing amazing, pulling them. They also get to the end. But I encourage you to consider, What's the difference in how those two runners show up at the end of that marathon? The one that's been pushed is likely to be stressed and maybe overwhelmed with all of that pressure. The one that came from Sage is more likely to be excited, to be uplifted because they were doing something that they loved. And think about your journey in life. Which one do you want? The one that's pushing you or the one that's pulling you? Because as we saw, they both make it to the end of the finish line. And the person that was led by Sage was more likely to make it sooner to that finish line. More success comes from Sage. And thinking about Kate, with all that she was doing at work, when it came time for promotion, then her achiever side thinking, oh, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm going to get my promotion, was passed up over and over again. She was told, you're doing the work of 3 people. You're indispensable. You're a miracle worker. There's no way that we could promote you. She was focusing on that breath, on doing as much as she could, rather than saying no to some things. And no to one thing is a yes to something else. And I encourage you to consider, when you say no, what are you saying yes to? Is it that thing that's moving you in alignment to what you really, really want? Another saboteur mistruth is that things need to be perfect. The stickler will say, things need to be perfect. They have to be just right. Everything needs to be just right. In reality, only 20% really needs to be perfect, especially that's an unattainable goal, right? Perfection. But when we're focusing on 80% being good enough, the 20% that really needs to be perfect or as good as it can get is more likely to be, because we've left ourselves with enough bandwidth by not fixating on everything needing to be just right. So it's 80% good enough is good enough. 20% really needs to be as good as it can be. So when we're looking at the saboteurs, you might be thinking, oh, yeah, you know what? My husband, he totally has the avoider. Or, oh, my daughter-in-law, she has the hypervigilant. For the sake of our time together, I encourage you to think more about your own saboteurs. Which ones come up for you? And please share in the chat what comes to mind when you think of experiences with saboteurs getting in your head. What are some of those voices that you hear? What are some of those triggers that you hear from your saboteur voices? So as you ponder that question, I will share another question. Are negative emotions good for you? What are your thoughts? Are negative emotions good for you? Another question, is pain good for you? What are your thoughts? Is pain good for you? So here's the answer. Negative emotions are only helpful for 1 second as an alert signal. Staying in negative emotion hurts your ability to see clearly and respond with empathy, curiosity, creativity, or laser-focused action. Negative emotion means you are in saboteur. If you're feeling that negative emotion, then you can say, oh, in negative emotion, saboteur has shown up. And then you can choose. You are at choice whether you listen to that negative emotion or you say, I'm not going to keep my hand on that burner. Keeping your hand on that burner is like staying in saboteur. So what is there to do? You're in saboteur. What happens? You have Sage. You can shift to Sage. The Sage lives in the region of the brain associated with positive emotions, peace and calm, clear-headed focus, creativity, the big picture. It operates from the Sage perspective. So looking at all of this after we've been talking about the saboteurs, it's kind of like an ah moment. All the good things, all the yumminess that brings that sense of resonance. So as I mentioned, when I was accepted for this opportunity to be here with you, then my saboteurs started tapping me on the shoulder. And so I said, oh, my saboteurs are telling me all sorts of stories, bringing up all sorts of concern. With time and space, it allowed Sage to come in. Sage came in with curiosity. What's true about that? What's true about what you're saying here? Compassion. You know what? I'm just going to show up, give it all that I've got. I'm only human, and I am here with positivity because I want to bring value. I am confident that this material has value to others because I have seen examples of that with hundreds of my clients. And so it's leaning into that wisdom and the awareness that if things don't go as desired, I could look from the sage perspective that every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift or opportunity. So I invite you to recall, what was a time when something that seemed quote unquote bad turned out to be a gift or opportunity? An example for me was I was working for Dale Carnegie Corporate Training, and it was my dream to become a trainer, to be there front of the room leading sessions. And I had done little portions of sessions, but I had a chance to lead half of a session with one of the other certified trainers. I was so excited to get this opportunity. And the day came, and my saboteurs crept in. You're not ready. You're going to fall flat on your face. You can't do this. And so that was what was really starting to sink in with me, is like, I'm not ready for this. I can't do this. And so I decided to do what I am rather embarrassed to share. I called my manager and I said, sorry, I'm not feeling well. I'm not going to be able to make it tonight for the session. And he was very nice. He said, no problem. I hope you feel better soon. The trainer has led these sessions many times on his own, so he's totally fine leading the whole session. Hope you feel better soon. At first, I was relieved. I was like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to take that chance, put myself out there. And then I also felt some shame, some guilt for not being honest, for giving up on myself. That stayed with me of like, you know what? I could have taken that chance and I didn't. I backed out. I got scared and I let myself get in my head. But I have turned that into a gift or opportunity. The gift is that I committed to myself, I won't ever do that again. I will just walk into that fear with courage. Courage is fear walking. And I committed, if something makes me uncomfortable, I'm just going to become comfortable with the discomfort. And as a result, I have taken on new experiences, new challenges, and embraced the opportunity for the growth and learning that they could provide, knowing that by doing that thing, over time, that's the only way that I'm going to get better at doing that thing. And that's happened when I was first invited to do a podcast. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. And with each one, it got incrementally better. Same thing with my Coach Lisha YouTube videos. I did one and I'm like, okay, this might be super messy, but I'm just going to go for it. And now 80 videos later, I see such a huge difference between the first one and the most recent one. And there's no way that would have happened if I had just said, oh, this is scary, I'm not going to do it. So I encourage you to consider, what is it in your life that you might be holding back from, that you can just step into some of that courage and go for it. So here's your chance to share in the chat your experience with something that seemed quote unquote bad and turned out to be a gift or opportunity. Maybe you saw that immediately after. Maybe it took some time, and now in hindsight, you see that there were gifts or opportunities that came from it. So please take a moment to share in the chat. And as you're doing that, I'm also looking at the saboteurs that you mentioned showing up for you and the qualities that they have. Thank you for all of that. So awesome. Here I'm seeing layoff. Thank you, Peter, for sharing. So great. So feel free to keep sharing the quote unquote bad things that turned out to be a gift or opportunity. And now, as we've explored the saboteur and the sage perspective, let's take a little look. So we've got our 10 saboteurs. They reside, generally speaking, in the left hemisphere of the brain. They motivate you through negative emotions, fear, stress, anger, guilt, shame, insecurity, etc. Then we've got our 5 sage powers that reside, generally speaking, in the right region of the brain. The 5 sage powers, I won't go into detail today, happy to share with you offline, but they are innovate, activate, explore, and empathy and navigate. They motivate you through positive emotions, empathy, curiosity, creativity, passion, and purpose. The 10 saboteurs might generate success, but they do not generate happiness. The 5 sage powers generate your highest success and sustained happiness. So I mentioned earlier, you can have success from your saboteurs, but you have even greater success from your sage, as well as stronger relationships and greater well-being. Now, you might be saying, well, that's great and all, but how do I quiet the saboteur and activate the sage? That is done through these exercises that I will teach you. Just like when you go to the gym and you strengthen your bicep muscles for stronger biceps, and you do the reps, there are reps that you can do for your core mental muscles. And those reps are essentially focusing on a single sensory experience. For today, I'll walk you through one that tends to be the most popular. And as we do this, we do it with shoulders back, chest open, spine straight. So that way you can really expand your capacity for breathing. And you can have your feet firmly planted, or you can be sitting in lotus position, feel your bottom against your seat, feel your back against your chair. Anything that gives you a sense of groundedness, feel free to experiment with what works well for you. So we're opening up the chest for greater breathing, bringing the shoulders back, opening up the diaphragm, and having that sensation of being very grounded. Now, we'll take the thumb and index finger, put them together, and make little circles with just enough tension to feel the ridges of the fingertips. Just enough tension to feel the ridges of the fingertips. And we do this with eyes closed, so that way you're not getting distracted by visual stimuli, because this is a single sensory experience. Now, one more thing. We all have monkey brain at times. Thought comes in, oh, we get distracted. If that happens, no problem. Just gently let it go and return your focus to this single sensory experience, just the tactile sensation. So again, eyes closed, shoulders back, chest open, and we'll begin. Little circles with just enough tension to feel the ridges of the fingertips. Thought comes in, gently let it pass, return your focus. Noticing with exquisite attention to detail. Don't worry about how fast or how slow. Just notice the experience, how it feels. And that's time. What did you notice? Now, additional exercises are to have your hands together and move them back and forth in alternating directions. Just noticing all the sensations of touch with your fingertips and palm of one hand against the fingertips and palm of the other hand. And also feel your breathing with your chest lifting and dropping. Noticing that lifting and dropping as you breathe. You can do an auditory rep, just listening to your own breathing, listening to the farthest away sound, and then listening to the closest up sound. Noticing the difference in temperature of air going into your nostrils and then going out. Visual rep of just looking at something with exquisite attention to detail, as if you've never noticed it before. People say they're looking at flowers and they see details that they never noticed because they're looking at it. And this is, again, a no thinking exercise. You're not looking at it thinking, oh wow, this is an interesting color contrast. I wonder how this would look on my wall as a pink color. No, as you get into your head, just there we go, monkey brain, gently move that thought away and return your focus. So You can experiment. A lot of people, they find that one type of sensory experience is more effective than another. So one might like tactile more, another might like sense of smell. It could also do sense of taste, auditory, whatever it works for you. It's that single focus. So looking at this process, we can see that it is quite simple. If you're feeling negative emotions, stop. Hand on burner, take it off. You're in saboteur mode. Do the PQ reps to quiet the saboteurs and activate the sage. Assume the sage perspective that every problem can be accepted or converted into a gift and opportunity. And then generate sage powers like empathy, curiosity, creativity, and calm, clear-headed action. You can only generate the gift by using the sage powers when you're in that neutral state. You can't access it when you're triggered. When you're running from the bear, you can't be thinking about your next best-selling novel. You have to first get back into neutral. That's really the key. So when we talk about the 3 keys to unlocking greater courage, confidence, and clarity, it's this. It's noticing when you are in saboteur, having that self-command muscle to then shift from saboteur to sage, doing the PQ reps, and then engaging your sage, being in that sage. I encourage you to think of a challenge you're having right now. What is your judge or inner critic saying about you, others, and circumstances? Because the judge and saboteurs, it's the judge of self, others, and circumstances. So what is that narrative? Now pause. Do whichever PQ reps you choose. Just do them until you notice that drop in your energy and emotion. And now, what are a couple of gifts and opportunities that you see in this challenge? What are a couple that come to mind for you? Feel free to share in chat. I wanted to share with the community. And as I look at all of the other shares that have come in, thank you so much for all your shares. I'm so happy to be here with everyone. Thank you for being here. Even though I can't see you, I can feel you. So now that we have an overview of this process, question, is it really possible to shift from saboteur to sage response, even in tough challenges? The answer is yes, but the speed and depth of the shift depends on the mental muscle strength. So it's those PQ reps that we talked about, looking at that strength of that mental muscle as it's been created by that stronger, as it's been created by doing the PQ reps that strengthen that mental muscle. And here's an interesting fun fact is over the course of 6 to 8 weeks of consistent practice, either on your own, or there's also a positive intelligence program that I lead, it shows up in an MRI that there is an increase in gray matter in the right region of the brain among those that have been really committed to doing these PQ reps. And some people ask, what about meditation? What about yoga? That can also be a form. This is like a specialized form of PQ rep is doing these things, but meditation, all of that is also a way to quiet that left region activity that is bringing in the saboteurs and activate that right region. Lasting positive change requires 20% insight and 80% mental muscle. So let's think about this. We attend a conference, a webinar, read a book, listen to a podcast. There are some goodies that we take, we're excited. And after some days, after some months, that kind of starts to die away. We're not putting that into practice as much. And the reason is because that's that 20% of insight for enduring behavioral and emotional change. Only 20% is staying. 80% of that change is the mental muscle. Because when we think about it, we're bringing in something new, and then the saboteurs are getting involved, and they compromise our growth. So that mental muscle is really key in order to have that lasting behavioral and emotional change. So I invite you to consider, what would be different for you if you could turn down the volume on your saboteurs and strengthen your sage? Again, feel free to share in chat if you'd like to put that out there. For those that like the neuroscience part of this, which I do, here is the neuroscience of habit formation. So an event or stimuli comes in, and for many of us, it goes straight to saboteurs. So I used to get triggered by, a huge mess in the living room for my kids. And that would, trigger my stickler saboteur of like, oh, this is a mess, it's chaos, this isn't how it should be. I'd walk in, boom, get annoyed, walk in, boom, get annoyed. And then as I started learning about these positive intelligence concepts, became aware of my stickler, I was able to see what was happening. Oh, it's my stickler that's telling me this is a bad situation and creating that negative energy and emotion. Then doing the PQ reps, either when I walk in or oftentimes beforehand, in order to charge that right region and come in with sage, I was able to shift that neural pathway towards the right. So I'd see the big mess, same stimulus, but instead of going to the left towards saboteur, it would go to sage. From sage, there was curiosity. Oh, noticing the big mess. And what can we do to make it fun to clean up together? How can I make this something that encourages the kids to participate and to enjoy the process of cleaning together by making it fun, making it into a game? And so over time, you can create that new neural pathway. And to tell you, it is such an amazing experience to notice things that used to trigger you and really have that strong grip become more like little taps, more like little whispers. And it no longer has that grip over you, but it's your choice to choose which path you're going to take. Greater courage, confidence, and clarity come only from sage response. Now, we kind of talked about this in our own space. It's important to know that other people's judge can trigger our judge. So someone says something along the lines of, hey, you want to do this thing at work? That's never been done before. Or we haven't done things that way. That's their judge. You're at choice to let that trigger one of your saboteurs or to respond from sage. From sage, you're able to see the response as an opportunity to get curious or for it to be a call of action instead of a limitation or rejection. You can be the person who does that thing. That can be your gift. You can be the reason that thing hasn't been done before, because never before has there been a you, which is unlike anyone else who's come before or will come after. And if someone tries to put you in a box saying this is what you should be doing or how you should be doing it, it's up to you to kick that box out of the way and say, no, that's your box. It's not my box. You are at choice. We don't get to choose other people's actions, their words. We do get to choose our responses. So what are you going to respond from? Your saboteur being triggered by theirs, or the PQ reps, which is, the PQ reps are cool because you can do it anywhere, anytime, and no one even sees you. Like in a meeting, you're doing it under the desk, or you're, using your feet on the floor, wiggling your toes, doing PQ reps on that sensation, listening to their voice and doing PQ reps that are auditory on their voice. Anywhere, anytime, these are super accessible. So in looking at that choice of being affected by judge or by sage, I'm going to share a story about a classmate who was at UC Davis with me. And she was in her 40s and doing undergrad to become a doctor. She dreamt of being a doctor. And When she was about to start that process, she became pregnant and she decided that she was going to prioritize her child instead of going to school to pursue being a doctor. So she had raised her child and she decided now's the time to revisit what I feel is my calling. Do you think she had some judge getting involved? Maybe judge from others. You're in your 40s. What are you doing going back to school now? By the time you become a doctor, then you're not even going to have so many years of practice. And, what are you thinking? And maybe in her head, it was, wow, my daughter is grown now. I have a chance to, maybe do other things, explore the world, travel. Why am I doing this? Do I have what it takes to do this? Who knows what those voices were? Whatever they were, she chose to not listen to that. And instead, to engage her sage desire to reinvent herself and pursue her dream. So I encourage you to think about what is something where quieting all those voices of the judgment from others and from yourself might give you that freedom to pursue what you really, really want. Now, for some, the sage sounds great, and you might be thinking, well, how do I access my sage? How do I know what that is? So we're going to do a little bit of a visualization to help you identify your sage. So for a moment, recall a best self experience where you were really in flow. You were having like this peak experience, lit up, feeling like you were just, flying high. Bring that moment to mind, one moment in time. What is that experience? Feel free to close your eyes if it helps you just to really focus on that memory. Notice what it feels like being that experience. Where do you notice the sensation? Maybe put your hand there to connect with it. It could be in your chest, in your shoulders, in your gut. And if you feel so inclined, move with that feeling, move with the energy and emotion that's coming up for you. Feel it come so alive in you to the point where you're fully immersed in it. Just feel it in every fiber of your body. That's your feeling of sage. That's being connected to sage. Feel it, savor it, hold on to it so you can return to it when you are really wanting to connect with your sage self. When I was considering what was next for me professionally, then I was looking at what I had done prior to when my kids were born, because I had taken some time to be with them full time. Then, it had been a while, and I thought, what was the thing that I did most recently? Oh, client success roles. Well, I've done that. I have experience. It wasn't that long ago, so maybe I'll go back to that. And I was applying, and it just felt like a lot of effort. And I was pushing. I'm like, well, it makes sense. And this is, what would be a natural next step for me is to continue what I was doing before. And then one day my husband's friend was over and he said, hey, there's something that I'd like to talk to you about. Do you mind? And I said, sure, no problem. And he was grappling with something that he was feeling called towards doing, but his family wanted something different for him. And so he was trying to figure out which path to take. And we talked and I listened, asked questions. It was just a conversation. And at the end, he was so excited. He's like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I feel amazing. And I felt amazing. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if this is what coaching is like. And the seed that had been planted years ago from a friend of mine telling me that her husband was a coach, and that was back when I was at Dale Carnegie, all of a sudden popped up and said, oh, maybe now is the time. And so I started looking into it. And I just felt so alive in that process. That was my sage pulling me towards it. And it was in my heart, in my gut. And then I engaged my mind as well as I started researching. What does it look like to get certified? What's the revenue potential? All of that. So that's an example of that push versus pull. Sage is the way of ease and flow. So when you're looking at your own experiences now, I invite you to consider the following questions, which I will put into Q&A. let's see. I've actually never put questions
Lisha, you might put them right in the
Q&A.
chat. That might help us out.
Oh, okay, I'll put them into the chat.
Thank
So
you so
here
much.
are the first questions. Yeah. So how am I describing my current path? How do I want it to be? Is it the same or different? If different, why is that? And how can I change it to be more of how I want it to be? So that's just something for you to consider. Feel free to answer it here if you want, or just take a note of it, save the chat so you can reflect on it later. Next series of questions, how am I feeling on my path? How do I want it to be? Is it the same or different? If different, why is that? And how can I change it to be more of how I want it to be? And the final set of questions, who is there on my path that's supporting me? And who am I supporting? How do I want it to be? Is it the same or different? If different, why is that? And how can I change it to be more of how I want it to be? So I invite you to consider those questions. Consider them for yourself as you go on your journey. And for those that are curious about their saboteurs, there is a free 5-minute assessment, and the link to that assessment is positiveintelligence.com/saboteurs. In the results section, you will be able to see the thoughts, feelings, description, justification, lies, impact on self and others, origins, and feel free to use this link to sign up for a free 45-minute mental fitness boosting session, which I am happy to hold for you. So you can just click on that link or copy it so that you can reach out to me. And reaching out to me, this is all of my contact information. So feel free to take a screenshot of that if you'd like. You can also use this QR code and scan that with your phone and open up the page that has all of my links. So you are welcome to access that as well. And as we come to completion, I encourage you to come up with a commitment that you will make going forward to put what we've discussed into practice. And I am more than happy to support you in these commitments. You now have all my contact information, so you can reach out, and I'm happy to support you. And I also encourage you to put your commitment in chat as part of the accountability. When we share something with others, we are more likely to hold ourselves accountable. If I tell my next door neighbor, I'm gonna go running at 5 in the morning every day, I'm more likely to do it because I know, oh, if I see him and I didn't go running, he might say, hey, I didn't see you at 5 this morning. And so if others know, we're more likely to hold ourselves accountable. And having that partner, you can hold each other accountable and say, hey, how's that thing going? And oh, hey, how's your thing going? So share those accountabilities of what you will do going forward to put what we've discussed into practice. Remember, responding from saboteur versus sage is a choice. You are at choice. Your next opportunity at work is your choice, from saboteur or sage. And consider not just what you're doing or not doing, but what parts of yourself you're being, what you want to live into as well. Is that being more creative, innovative, intellectually stimulated, strategic, courageous, collaborative, a visionary? Who are you going to be in this next opportunity? So I hope you are leaving this session reconnected with your best self, having recharged to navigate life with greater courage, confidence, and clarity, and having reimagined a brighter, bolder future. Thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And I encourage feedback so that I can use this as a gift and opportunity for learning and expanding. And I will share with you a survey so that you can click on the link or scan the QR code and take this survey. So thank you again for being here, for your time. And I encourage you to reach out to me with any questions, anything you want to share. And thank you again.
Lisha, thank you so much. Let's give just a virtual round of applause for Lisha's incredible presentation. I feel like I have more confidence. I feel like I have more clarity. I am so excited for the rest of today's experience. We're going to be shifting into our group coaching sessions for those who have registered. So we'll create just about a 5-minute buffer for y'all to transition to those spaces. But we've got a couple minutes for Q&A, Lisha, if you're cool to stay on and take a couple questions.
Beautiful.
One question that we had come through, thank you so much, is on how do you efficiently build that mental muscle? That was one of those questions that kind of came through, and I'd be kind of curious what your take might be.
Sure. So building that mental fitness muscle is done through the PQ reps that I've mentioned, those little fingertip circles. It's recommended to do about 100 a day. They're only 10 seconds each. And the easy thing is that you can do it anywhere, anytime. You can do it in the shower using auditory or sensory as the water's falling on your head or on your body, washing your hands when you're eating with each bite. So the way to strengthen that mental muscle is through these PQ reps, the single sensory experience. Just like if you want to strengthen your bicep muscle, you do bicep curls with hand weights. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and I think this kind of connects in. We got a question around how are PQ reps different than stimming? So for often folks who maybe are on the autism spectrum, that sort of self-stimulating behaviors, those kind of repetitive body movements or sensorial experiences, the seeking are also kind of moving away from experiences. Any kind of thoughts on maybe what might be different between those two things, the PQ reps and maybe stimming?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with those other exercises or actions, but essentially it's that single sensory focus. So if it is, it's a movement, it's just focusing on that piece of it. It's not, seeing yourself and moving and feeling at the same time. It's just one single sensory experience. And there are very likely different realms of actions that can be counted as a PQ rep. So I invite you to get creative. Some people even find that sounds like, they are like rubbing certain jewelry, and that can be a way of quieting that saboteur activity and getting grounded. It's a self-soothing or calming experience.
I love that. It's like almost kind of that definition of mindfulness, like paying attention in the present moment without judgment. And oftentimes it's like, just brush your teeth and focus on the brushing of your teeth. Like that practice.
Yes,
and it's
I
do the laundry, but focus on the doing of the laundry and be in that folding, I love it. I'm so thankful for this perspective. Last question we've got time for today. When in a confrontational situation or conversation with a supervisor, what are some good ways to make that shift? Like even asking for like a 5-minute break to reconvene was something that someone put in the chat as an option to think about on this question. What thoughts do you have, Lisha?
Yeah, absolutely. Taking that, pause and saying, hey, I need a few moments to collect my thoughts, or, hey, I'm noticing this is feeling a little bit intense, and just, bringing that forth. I notice I'm feeling this, not, you're annoying me, because then the person gets defensive, but it's like, I'm noticing this. And then doing the PQ reps. You can even do them during the meeting. If you're noticing yourself getting triggered, then just focusing on the person's nose as you're talking to them and noticing with exquisite attention to detail, that can help quiet some of that saboteur activity. And the beautiful thing is if someone's kind of coming at you, they're in saboteur mode. And so saboteur triggers saboteur, but sage also triggers sage. So you think about, if someone's like getting really, like someone's really upset, and you're staying really calm and chill, or you're really upset and someone else is really calm and chill, it's kind of hard to stay in that because they're just so calm and chill. So bringing your energy down, then it's like this, PQ channel, and we pick up on each other's energy. So shifting your energy can help shift their energy too.
Woo! Gosh, you're getting a lot of love in the chat right now, Lisha. This is such a wonderful, amazing, inspirational, and motivational way to jumpstart our exciting week of Now programming. If by chance, do you mind tossing up that survey QR code one more time for our folks in the
Yes.
room. We'll have that up as we are heading out of our time together. Ooh, your fastest fingers are flying. I love it, Lisha. You're
Sorry.
crushing it.
Yeah, that was.
This is a
Well,
magical
actually,
mystery tour. No, you got it. You're doing great.
I know.
One,
Actually, so real quick, some people had asked for the saboteur link as
yeah.
well. So
Okay,
this
great.
is the saboteur link, and I'll go into the survey.
I love it. Yeah.
So
Folks, go ahead and
1,
do a
2,
screen
3.
grab of our saboteur link. And then we've got
Mhm.
our survey coming up in just a second here. And folks, we'll send out our survey to our Now Conference attendees. So you get that opportunity to be able to provide that feedback. We invite it. Thank you so much, Lisha. I've got a couple just closing notes for everyone. Remember, please complete the session evaluation using the QR code on the screen. You can scan that or type out the link. The slide materials are on the Now Conference Coaching HQ website for you to access and take forward with you. Your feedback is so important to us in letting us know what worked well and what could be different, right, to better meet your needs into the future. Your input helps us to plan future conferences and sessions. Okay, for those who signed up for group coaching sessions, make sure to make your way to those rooms ASAP. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes until those rooms are going to start. Those were sent to you by your UC email address with a specific Zoom link for an appointment invitation. So we'll need to leave this room. You'll need to go back, consult your calendar, consult the invitation that was sent to you by Now Coaching HQ at berkeley.edu. You'll find your coach name, your instructions to join, your handy dandy companion guide that'll be with you through your coaching sessions through the week. With that, we are so thankful for your participation, engagement, and attendance at this week's Now Conference. We hope you have a great time with all the webinars, group coaching, and one-on-one sessions through the week. And for those who are going to be with us for the in-person experience, the main day of the conference on Thursday, June 8th, check your email for information on how to prepare and get ready and get excited for our 11th annual Now Conference on Thursday at the Oakland Marriott. With that, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We'll hang back just for a few minutes, but you can go ahead and leave the virtual platform for those who are going over to your group coaching sessions. Those are different links and different invitations sent to you by Now Coaching HQ at berkeley.edu, and you'll be able to access that information there. Great question, everybody. Really appreciate your question about the recording. Yes, this session was recorded and it'll be posted on the Berkeley People and Culture YouTube page in the coming months. So thank you so much for your patience there. With that, thanks again, everybody, and take care. Have a fabulous Now week. Again, a round of applause for Lisha for our incredible presentation this morning. We're just so happy to have you, Lisha. Any final words before we tap out?
Well, I am so grateful to be here with each and every one of you. Thank you for showing up, for participating, and for this opportunity to share all of this with you. It's been a pleasure and a privilege.
Hey, we're just so honored to have you here, Lisha. All right, I know you got to skedaddle to your next thing. Oh, we so appreciate your facilitation. And take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Enjoy the conference.
You crushed it, Lisha. Way to go. Yeah, we had 160 at one point. So, big popular session here. I know you got to run, but we'll connect another time. And I'm just so proud of you. Way to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, take a breather. Keep it going.